All right, we're back on the windows. So we've had a few interesting elements here on the windows. These are Pocahontas, spelled just like you think it should be, Pocahontas. Windows that I bought through Mobile Home Depot. Got them like a year ago. I needed to get them in hand before I put the sheet metal on the bus because that dictated what size window openings I was going to leave, and I did not want to take a chance on the size that they were telling me that they were going to be. I needed to have them in hand. So these are tinted with really high heat reflecting, like 90% or something heat reflecting window tint. Yeah, disregard all the fingerprints and stuff. I haven't cleaned them up. I brought them home today from the window tint place, Tint King. And so this is the inside. They did an okay job the second time around. So far, this is the second window I'm looking at. And you can see that top edge is like peeling a little bit. Maybe if I lay it down flat, it'll show better. There was a lot of peeling edges when I brought them home. So then I brought them back, and they fixed them up here a second time. There, now you can see right there, it's peeling on that edge. And I guess because they didn't clean it good enough or something. But I mean, that's not that bad, I guess. So anyway, so here's what we're gonna do. You can see it right there a little bit. There. This is actually pretty good, I guess. But some of them were like really, really bad, and like that the tint was not cut enough, and maybe that's, I don't know. So we're just going to disregard all that for now. But let me tell you how this install is going to go. So this is the bottom of the window, my side, and these windows are pretty much the same thing as I've seen other school bus windows in the type of quality and construction. They come with screens, which is great, and they're removable just like a house. There's like a little spring thing that you push on the spring and you can pop out the bottom, and I'm hoping that they stay in there good enough for road travel, but we'll see. The way this install is going to go, there's going to be screws in these holes across the bottom, and there's going to be screws in these holes up each side, but the top is not going to get any screws. It's just going to be caulked in. And what's going to happen is this top edge is going to butt up against the bottom of the rain gutter. And you know, you might think, well, that sounds kind of cheesy, but that's the way the original windows were on the bus. This little gap here had hot glue in it that I trimmed. And I trimmed it because it was bulging out, and you can see there's a little piece where there's nothing, and I'm okay with that because this is going to be sealed on the back side, and if anything materializes, I'll just add a little dab right there. But so my original plan is I was going to put little number 8 stainless steel screws in these holes with lock nuts on the back side just to fill the holes up, and just leave it at that. So the original windows on that bus were caulked across the top with polyurethane sealant. They put a really big bead of caulk across the top, and that was the only thing holding in the top. And there was only one screw in the middle on each side, pressing the windows from the inside out. These are going to be installed from the outside in. So I had an epiphany, there's that word again, of how I'm going to deal with this, because if I put screws in here first and then try to put the caulk bead, the caulk's going to have to go over these screw heads and it's going to be hard to make a nice bead. So my epiphany is I'm going to clean this surface really well with some rubbing alcohol. I'm going to take some of my 33 plus electrical tape and I'm going to stick it really well over each of these holes. And then I'm going to flip the thing over and I'm going to fill the hole with some black polyurethane sealant, and then on the back side with it flipped, I'll make a little kind of rosette bud thing so it has some body to it. And then I'm going to let that cure. After it's cured, I'll peel the black tape off and it'll leave just a nice little perfect little circle. And then after I do the install, I can run my bead of polyurethane caulk along the edge and it'll go over these holes as well. So I am very happy with that idea, and I think it's going to work great. So I'm going to come back in a little bit and show you my method. All right, so this is the stuff I decided on using. I've already used it on Jesus, what the heck was it? Oh, around the windshield on the bus. And I like it. It's quite easy to work with. It doesn't tell you directly on the instructions. It says clean up with mineral spirits or something like that, or solvent, whatever. But I found that is quite true. It dissolves almost instantly when you have some mineral spirits on a rag. So if you get some on your fingers, whatever, it takes it right off. This is a little bit ate up here. I left this in the bus and rain got in there and got it wet. So I'm hoping that this tube doesn't bust or anything. So before I get started with this, I just wanted to show you Lowe's chimney joints and shingles sealant, polyurethane sealant. It cures to a consistency a lot like RTV silicone, but it's not silicone, it's paintable, and really easy to work with. So we're going to cut the tip. I'm going to make a really small hole in the tip for what I'm doing right now. And then I'm going to puncture the seal with this piece of coat hanger. And I'm also going to use this caulk gun, which I find the best caulk gun I've ever used. The way the mechanism works, when you release the handle, it releases the pressure on the piston, and you don't have to push this button to stop the caulking from continuing to ooze out. And it doesn't have the issue of if you're squeezing really hard on the trigger that the end piece tries to bend out on you. It doesn't do that at all because of the way this thing is supported. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this with tape just for security purposes, cut the tip, and go back in the kitchen, and we'll show you the next step. Okay, here we go. There's my Scotch Super 33 Plus electrical tape, the only kind I ever buy. And I wrapped the tube here just for security purposes, just in case something's up. I don't want to be wasting this and get halfway through my job, and that's the only tube I got on hand right now. So I already cleaned this with the rubbing alcohol, regular old isopropyl. I buy the 91% stuff. It's excellent cleaner. And I've dried it off thoroughly, and I put my electrical tape over the holes. Now we're going to flip this guy. And also, just want to tell you a little bit about this again if I didn't. On school buses, it's the top window that opens. On mobile home windows, it's the bottom window that opens. And I'm just double checking myself actually to make sure that I'm plugging up the right holes. I need to plug the top holes. So actually I tried to buy these windows without the holes in it, and that got a little bit too complicated. So here we go. They're punched from this direction, so there's a burr here, which is not going to be a problem for me, but just wanted to share that. Very sharp on that one. So I degreased this side with the alcohol as well. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Probably not as good as two hands, but so what we're going to do, we're going to fill this hole. And by the way, I cut the smallest hole I could in the tip of the caulk gun. So we're going to fill this hole, each hole, like from the side edge. It's filling up the tube here. Hold on a second. And the reason why we're doing that from the side hole, and I looked away for a second, I don't even know if I got it right. Alright, so that's what we wanted to do. The reason why we're filling it from the side is so that there's no air bubble that gets in there. We just kind of fill this thing up. Now I'm trying to put the caulk gun where the bevel that I cut as flat as I can, so that the caulk squeezes out from the side that way. And I'm just putting a little bit of a goober there, just so that there's some body to it. Alright, that's all we're going to do. I'm going to do that to 10 windows, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 70 holes to caulk up, and we're going to let that sit overnight. And tomorrow we're going to pull the tape off, and hopefully the holes are filled up clear around the circumference. And I've done similar with silicone before. The tape peels right off and doesn't leave any residue or anything. It makes a nice little cheat for filling holes. Just put electrical tape on it. So when we go to do the install, there's nothing in this area for this to rest on, so these little spooges are completely harmless for the operation. And then I'll show you tomorrow when I'm doing the install. We're using black rubber butyl tape, not the gray colored stuff. The gray colored stuff you can get at like Mobile Home Depot and maybe Home Depot, I don't know. But it's that same stuff that you see. It's like plumber's putty in a roll, and it just doesn't quite have the stickiness and the strength. I've seen that stuff before, and you can like squeeze it a little bit too easy for me. This is butyl rubber that I bought in tape off of Amazon. It's more like an automotive quality that you would use to make a windshield installation. So let me get this done. Okay, today is Sunday. What is it, like the 28th of July? Something like that. So I'm getting ready to peel the tape off. This has been curing for about 2 days. These have been in the house, so I guess the cool air and the dry air cause it to take a while to cure. So I've never done this trick with this particular adhesive. I have done it with silicone and it works great, so hopefully this will be doesn't come off. Kind of ripped it. I think I'm going to have to use a razor blade and cut it as the tape approaches the hole. Let me try that. Okay. So
Hey, I've done this trick using silicone, and the electrical tape just peels right off. It doesn't even stick at all. It's as stuck as if you had stuck the electrical tape to any other surface. But with this urethane, it sticks to the tape kind of permanent like. The first one here I kind of damaged a little bit by pulling it too hard. I think I tore. I'll have to go back and look at the video. But the rest of them I just used a regular old razor blade, and I gently pulled up on the electrical tape and just sliced off the urethane. So the holes are closed, they're sealed. It's still got a solid area of caulk on the back, so there's no way that those things are going to have water through them. Excepting, like I said, the first one I might have ripped it by trying to just pull without cutting. But it's good enough. It's going to get another layer of urethane along the top of it anyway. Just wanted to make sure I did my best to seal those holes.